Welcome. Start in a seated position, cross-legged or butterfly, or legs out. Feel free to prop up onto a pillow or block. What you want is the back to be nice and tall and lengthened out of tailbone. And roll the shoulders back a couple times. Look down or close your eyes. Let's start with the 4-part breath. We'll take 4 full seconds to expand the diaphragm on the inhale, opening the rib cage, and then suspend for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds, emptying. Pause on empty for 4. So your 4 count might be 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're a little bit newer to pranayama, if you mastered Ujjayi breath, this lengthens the breath, then your count may be more like 1, 2, 3, 4. As Ujjayi breath narrows the airway, and it takes twice as long for the same amount of air to enter the body. So whether you're just using a regular breath Ujjayi, you decide on the pace of your breath. Full 4 to inhale. Staying at the top like you're on a Ferris wheel, pausing to let riders on. Exhaling 4 down. The Ferris wheel moves its way down. And then we pause on empty at the bottom. You can picture that circular circuit of breathing. Two more rounds. After that, second exhale. Hands together, prayer. And let's do 4 bumblebee breaths, Brahmari breath. This is when we hum on the exhale. So deep breath in. Then extend your arms up. Lengthen as high as you can. Let's do side bends like that. Feeling it out of the hip and waist. Rocking. Using the obliques, your lateral abs. Open up the arms. And let your hand touch down on the floor, arm overhead. Other side. If you want to go a little further, maybe you drop down onto the elbow. I have 2 blocks next to me. I'm going to drop my arm onto the block. Extend out of hip. So the inhale on the expansion, the exhale on the change. Let's change it a little bit. So now you're reaching diagonally out in front, and the other arm is going behind. Reaching behind you, reaching in front. Feel the twist. Imagine you're trying to reach out and get something. Land your hands onto your lap and let's circle. Nice and big, dropping down through the back. Inhaling forward, pushing your way around, chin to chest. So the inhale is on the expansion of the chest as you come forward. The exhale is on the contraction as you drop back. Circle the other way. Such a great warm-up for low back and hips. Take your feet out in front of you, hands behind. Drop your legs to one side, and then lifting the chest, look behind you. A little arch right there over the shoulder. Inhale. Use the exhale to change, rock it over. Big breath as you expand your chest and look back. And change. One more per side. Come on into butterfly. Soles of the feet face each other. So if you have any knee limitations, just move the feet further forward. If you can, take them in close and hold your ankles. And again, if they're further forward, you might just be taking the knees or calves. Sitting up nice and tall, flap the butterfly wings. Doesn't matter if your knees are not close to the ground like mine. You could be up here. This is still getting the same effect. Rolling up the pelvis and hips. Let's take it into a gentle seated twist. So I'm just reaching for the opposite foot, other hand behind me. Roll the front shoulder down, lift your chest and look behind you or out to the side. 2 full breaths. Reach the other way, taking the opposite foot. Press down behind you, your hand behind is like a kickstand, holding you up. Nice, let's move into table pose. I'm putting my blocks up at the top of the mat for runner's lunge later on. I like to use blocks. So if you want to use blocks, have them ready there. Let's come to table. Arching, so you're dropping the belly down. Roll your shoulders back. The movement's in the spine, so we're not doing a whole bunch of little push-ups. You're just staying straight through the arms. You tuck under with tailbone and chin. Dip, inhale. Exhale, push through the palms. Rise up, tailbone under. 3 more. And then walk your hands forward in puppy pose, just like down dog, but you're on your knees. Drop your head, tailbone high, and feel as if someone is pushing through the center of the back, dropping the heart toward the mat. Lengthen through your fingertips. Curl your toes under, pull up, draw back, down dog. Pulling back so that your shoulders roll away from the ears. If you find you're kind of pushed forward and a bit rounded, if you bend the knees a little and imagine someone's pulling your hips back, you'll get that lengthening through the spine. Relax the back of the neck. Breathe here. Straighten one leg and drop through the other one. So you feel that jutting through the hip, the stretch in the gluteus medius, outer hip, switch, drop through the other one. Jutting the other hip. And straightening both legs. Let's land the left knee down and step the right foot forward. Rise up, kneeling. If you need a little padding under your kneeling knee, you can quickly fold your mat or get yourself a folded blanket. When you're ready, arms up as if you're holding a ball. Look between your hands, roll your shoulders back. Your core strength is keeping you stable as you lean back, stretching out at the left hip flexor. Stack your hands onto the front knee and lengthen forward. You want that back leg as lengthened back as possible. Up tall, shoulders back, inhale. Bringing your hands down to frame the foot on the floor or a set of blocks. Flex the back foot, knee comes off in runner's lunge. And what you want to avoid here is falling down if you're really flexible.
If you find yourself quite high, then definitely blocks are what you want. Stay here, tuck your chin in, roll your shoulders back, stay long. And let's seesaw back and forth from runner's lunge to pyramid. So you're straightening the front leg as much as you can.
So if you have tight hamstrings like everybody else,
You might really be feeling this on the way back. Promise they'll be nice and warmed up by the end. Step your back foot to the front. Knees are bent. Hang down. I'm releasing the blocks. My hands are just hanging. Dropping down. Head is heavy. Take hold of each elbow and sway side to side. Fingertips to your shins, extend your legs and your back in Ardha Uttanasana. Half extension, shoulders roll back. You want to be nice and long, and even a little dip in the spine here. As you breathe out, lower. Inhale halfway up. Looking forward like a swimmer on the block, about to dive in. Exhale down. One more. Lengthen. And now continue the journey up. Arms above the head, just like we did kneeling. Holding that imaginary ball, roll back the shoulders, and a little back extension right here. Interlace your hands behind you. Draw them back. Lifting your heart to the sky. And standing up, hands by your side, into Tadasana. Palms rolled open. Look down and see that your feet are parallel, about hip width apart, and root down through the feet. Try to spread your toes. See if you can lift them up, but keeping the ball of the foot still on the mat. Land your toes. And root through the right leg. Lift your left. Circle the foot in the air. Gaze straight ahead at a point that's not moving. Something past the computer screen. Point on the wall. Nice. Now take hold of the knee with the left hand and open it up to the side. You can lift the right arm if it helps you stay balanced. Then I've just turned to face you. I'm going to come back to the top of my mat and step back with the lifted leg into Warrior Two. Wide open chest. And notice that the back arm's not falling down and the hands are not limp, but you're extending the pose through the fingertips. Touch down on the back leg and reach up overhead. Look behind you. Opening it back up, come down onto the bent knee and reach up. So I've got this palm upward, arm straight to the sky, look toward it. Let's do big arm circles here, so sweeping the arm down. This is great for the shoulder. So if you have shoulder limitations, you might just be slicing the air slightly in front like that rather than coming overhead. This is fine. Keep the arm lifted again and straighten the front leg completely. Palm is facing outward, sliding it down. It's against the shin, so you're not pushing into the leg like this, but your palm is open and against the leg, rolling open with the top hip. So anytime when we're doing Trikonasana triangle, we want to watch that this hip is not starting to come down toward the ground. Keep it rotated, lift, nice. Hands to hips, turning out over the front leg and lengthen the spine. Bringing the hands down to blocks or floor into pyramid pose. So we were in pyramid earlier, but we had the foot facing forward. Now we still have the foot in a triangle stance. Drop your head toward the front knee. Now pick up the back foot and turn it forward facing as before. Step back from here to down dog. Compare your legs. Feel what you've just done, walk in place. Take it forward to plank and hold. So if you need to be on your knees, you're on your knees. So here is supported plank. What you don't want to be is in table or in a cobra, but in a ramp from shoulders to hips. And if you're in the full pose, watch that you're not sinking down through the hips like this, but you are holding it. Shoulders don't go past the crease in the wrists. Pull it back to down dog again. Tippy toes take you forward to plank. Hold, engage through the core, the back. Don't tense up through the neck. Keep your head loose. And back. And from here, land the right knee. Step the left foot forward. Lift your arms. Roll your shoulders back. Look between your hands. Here's our back bend again. On the next exhale, take the hands down to floor blocks. Take the back knee off the floor. Let's do that seesaw motion again. From runner's lunge into pyramid. Breathing into the front leg. Back foot on the next one, from your pyramid, step it. Draw down. Now last time we had the knees bent and we were quite loose. Now imagine that your tailbone is lifting as your head moves down into Uttanasana, full forward fold. But do not lock the backs of the knees. Not like this, but a little micro bend. Maybe your hands make it to the floor, the blocks, or just hold your ankles, draw your head in and breathe. Look forward and rise up, adding the back bend as we did before, kneeling. Draw back, lift your heart. Watch that you're not falling forward through the hips, but you're rising out of the navel. Bringing the hands down, let's get those parallel feet, hip width apart, Tadasana. Few shoulder rolls to open the chest. And root down through the left leg, lift your right leg, circle the foot in the air. Let's take the right hand and open it up. Left arm can be stretched out if that helps. Gaze at a point ahead. And now take the leg behind and step back into warrior two. On the other side. At any point you get confused with left and right, just make sure you're not repeating one side and switch it. So we want those straight arms again. Imagine you're holding a broom handle behind you. It's not crooked. We want it completely parallel to the floor. Touch down on the back leg as you slide it down and reach overhead. Lengthen. Don't start to straighten the front leg. Keep it deep. Taking it over. Arm onto the leg. I've got my palm upright. Reach for the ceiling. Let's do those big arm circles right here. Windmill arms, sweeping it down and overhead. If it can't go overhead, it's out in front. Either way, you're getting shoulder rolls. And now keep the arm up. Straighten the front leg completely. Sliding hand down, palm facing out. Reaching up. So if you can't see yourself in the image on the screen or the mirror behind it or whatever, then what you want to make sure is your arm's not kind of falling out like this. We want to have that straight arm from hand to hand. Bringing the hand down, we move right into pyramid pose. Hands to blocks or floor. Front leg as straight as possible. Drop your head. Pick up the back foot and turn it forward facing, still in pyramid. Deep inhale. Step back to down dog. Shoulders away from ears, walk in place. Land your left knee and lift your right leg into the air. Stay tall right here. Feel like someone is pulling your foot out behind you. Opposite arm extends. Nice straight line. Notice if you're bending the knee and straighten it out again. Land the hands, step the foot forward. Lifting up, holding the ball in front, lifting it behind, straighten the front leg. Coming down into half split. So you're lengthening out of the spine and hands down on either side of the straight leg, drop your head. Breathing into the hamstrings of the extended leg. Bend the front leg, land the foot, and lift off with the back leg. Hands can certainly be on blocks here. I'll just demonstrate that as we lift off into a standing split. So you want to use blocks if you find your standing leg is bent. Like that. And this can allow it to lengthen up. Or you have the hands on the floor, head toward knee. If you want to take a balance challenge here, take hold of the back of the leg with one hand and the front of the leg with the other hand. Bend the standing leg, bring your hands back to the floor, and land the foot down. Straighten the front leg, we're back in pyramid. We're really working on those hamstrings today. Draw your head down. I'm just gonna rotate so I'm facing you when we open up into Vira 2. So land the back foot on an angle, bend the leg, the front leg, and open. Here we are again. Warrior 2. Sweep the hands in front. Expand open. Here's the inhale. Here's the exhale. Taking it down onto the front leg again. Reach up, this time arm overhead, stretching out of hip, lengthening, look past your fingers. Merging right into Trikonasana triangle, reach the top hand to the sky. Straighten the front leg completely. And now, you can take the hand to the floor so long as this hip doesn't start to turn toward the floor. And here's where a block is amazing. I have it right next to my foot, fingers or hand on that block. What you want to avoid is dropping the weight into it, but use your obliques to keep you lifted. Look up. Let's rotate the triangle. So the top hand comes down to the floor or block a little bit away from the body, maybe a foot or two. So I'm dropping my block downward and bringing my opposite hand onto it. So right leg forward, left hand on the block, and now right arm extends to the sky. Feel how this is a different variation on the hips. We twist the body and stretches different things than a regular triangle. This is more in the outside of the right hip. Bringing the hand down, let's turn forward or sideways on your mat so that you're in a wide-legged forward bend. So I've turned my feet forward facing and I'm dropping my head down, sway left and right.
Then walk your hands to the top of your mat so you're back in down dog, turning, stepping back, pulling back, shoulders roll away from ears, and walk in place. Tippy toes lift you, and let's find ourselves in plank again. Feel free to drop to the knees. In this one, we'll just walk. I'm dropping a knee and dropping the other knee. If you're doing this from knees, one lifts, the other lifts. And land yourself in table. Let's take a little puppy pose here. Give the wrists a little rest. Stretch your fingers, breathe. 2 big breaths. You can add that bumblebee humming at the end. And come on back up to table. Bring the knees together and extend. Left leg behind. Right leg forward. Lengthening through the body, holding crawling tiger. This is a core exercise, a leg exercise, abs, arms, it's all happening. And bringing it down, step it forward so that you're in kneeling split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Hands can be on blocks or floors. You drop your head toward your extended leg. Try flexing the front foot. Long breath. That leg's got to be as straight as possible. If you find that you can't straighten it, you're super tight in the hamstrings, you take the blocks, and that might allow you to straighten it even if you're up here like that. You just want that straight front leg, and then lengthen forward toward it. Bend the front leg to ground the foot. Lengthen your back leg. Turn the foot and open up into Viratu. Again, just make sure you're doing the other side. Reach forward and reach back. And then settle into center. Bring your hand onto the front leg and arm overhead this time. Lengthen out of hip. Look past your hand. Big breath. Reach back to the sky, hand down to block or floor with a straight front leg. So again, you can take the same version as we did at the beginning, or you're a little bit lower, or you're on the block, my favorite. So long as the top hip is lifted, open, look up toward the sky. Make sure you're not bending the front leg. It's a common error in Trikonasana. Try to keep that straight line from top hand to bottom. Now bring the hand down for reverse triangle. I'm shifting my block a little further out to the edge of the mat and bringing the right hand onto it, left hand to the sky. So as long as you have whichever leg is forward, it's the opposite hand down. And same arm to the sky. So you're rotated, you're twisted, you're closed to the twist. Breathing into the left hip. Bringing the hand down, we find ourselves in pyramid once again. Turn the back foot, drop your head. And if you have hands on blocks, shift them aside as you step back to down dog. Roll back your shoulders. And tuck your chin in, just see your feet. Lift up onto your toes.
And centering the left foot, send the right leg up into the air, straight and high as you possibly can. Bend it and lift the hip, rotating it so that you're looking under, you're looking toward the right. Your arm is just across your face as you look under high. And then untwist, bring it through to runner's lunge. Extend long out of the hip. Pull back to pyramid. And now we're taking off with the back foot. Hands are on floor or blocks, lifting that leg as high as you can. You want your standing leg to be as straight as possible. Draw your head in toward the knee. Bend your leg in the air. Reach behind you with the opposite hand. So I have my left leg rotated and I'm reaching the right hand. Then try to pull it as you take the knee as high as possible. Now it's okay if you're just finding yourself kind of like this, heel toward the buttock, that's as high as you can take it. In time, as the hip opens, you'll rotate it, pulling it out the opposite direction. And bring it down to forward fold. Left leg sails back, bend the right leg, veer two. Turn the back foot to tippy toes, arms up. So this is the way, I call it crescent lunge or Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Now sometimes warrior 1 is done with that foot landed down. I prefer it on tippy toes. You can do the other version if you want. This is better for my hips. Look between your hands, lean back. Open back up to warrior 2 and immediately straighten the front leg, lowering into Trikonasana. Arm reaches up. As you exhale, top hand down to floor or block. Other arm up, twisted or rotated triangle. Breathing out, bring the top hand down, turn on your mat. Wide-legged forward bend, drop your head. Big breath to expand the rib cage. Turn the feet slightly out and bend your knees. Coming up into goddess. So, common mistake in this one is to be like this. No, let's make it fierce, ferocious. Square arms, engage, open the palms, pull the elbows back. Let's expand everything straight, big letter X, inhale. And exhale it down into your goddess. Open up. Sit down in Davyasana. 3 more. And hands down to the legs. Drop down, pushing the legs wide. Drop one shoulder, look up. And other shoulder, look up. Center, hands to the floor. Walk back into downward dog. Pulling back. Roll your shoulders away from the ears. Feel as if someone's pushing down through the center of your spine, heart toward the mat. Bring your feet together and lift the left leg, bend it in the air. Rotating, lifting up the hip, looking under the left arm, flex the foot in the air. 3-legged dog with a rotation. Breathing into it, loving the openness in the hip, feeling the twist. And now, untwist. Move it through runner's lunge. Lengthen out of the hip behind you. Pull back to pyramid. Now take off with the back foot. You're leaning forward, a little bend in the knee as you lift up. The back leg as high as comfortable. You can certainly put your hands on blocks here. You want the standing leg to be straight. You want both legs to be straight. Now bend the leg in the air and start to lift the hip. The same rotation you had in down dog. Opposite hand. Reaches up, floats in the air, trying to find the foot. Oh, there it is. And try to pull it away from the body and a little bit out to the side. Just like the three-legged dog with the rotation. Don't worry if you're not far. If your foot's really close to your body still, it's okay. It takes time to open up the hips. Release, step it back. Warrior two. Coming forward and down, straighten the front leg. We're into triangle. Wind the top hand down, other arm up, rotated triangle. We're going to transition from this pose right into warrior one, crescent lunge, by bringing the top hand down. I'm opting to turn my back foot to tippy toes, bend the front leg, and rising moon. Arms by the head. Stay deep, look up, add a little back bend. Turning on your mat into goddess. So keeping the legs completely still, be as low as you can with that tailbone. Let's twist upper body side to side like this. We're getting ready to take the practice down to the mat. Nice. And straighten the legs, fold in half. Back and torso is parallel to the floor. Big inhale. Bring your hands down. And you can turn on your mat whichever way you need to so that you're facing me. And soles of the feet together. Hold your ankles. Flap the butterfly wings. So if your knees are fairly high up, like this is more common, most people are like this, use your elbows or your forearms to push on them. If you're quite low to the floor like this, then use your palms and push. If you have any knee issues at all, move the feet a little further forward to alleviate that. Alternatively, you could just stay like this and just lean forward. So wherever you are, what we want is an opening through the pelvis. Opening through the hips. Long, long back, long breath. Sitting up tall. Let's keep the left leg bent and extend the right leg out to the side. Flexing that foot, sit nice and tall. Slide down the extended leg. If possible, take the toes. If you have a strap nearby, you could wrap it, but this is fine. You can take the shin. Reach up with the other arm. Now let's lean that arm back so you're twisting open and away from the extended leg. Arm overhead. So this might be where you go. If you can go a little bit further, the goal is to try to touch the arm with the other hand or hand to hand. Let's aim to keep both sit bones on the mat. So if you find yourself pulling up, bring it back down and draw back a little. Turning the torso to face the extended leg. Whether you're holding here or here or there. Drop your head down as far as you can. Let it just hang between your arms. See your knee, see your ankle, or keep your eyes closed. And bring it back up. Back to butterfly. Compare, feel the work you just did in the right leg. Shoulder rolls a few times back. Look up, inhale. Exhale, chin to chest. Sway your head left and right. Lifting up through the chest. Let's take the left leg out there. Wherever you can. So, I have mine kind of far out to the side. You might find yourself like this. C'est ça. C'est correct. Notice this line from your big toe, your flexed big toe, to the knee, so it's not falling inward or outward. Sliding left arm down the leg, wherever it'll go. Reaching up. And arm overhead. Let's do that lean back. So shoulder starts to draw back, arm moves back, look behind you. And then overhead, maybe you can just touch the arm with fingertips or wrists or hand to hand, keeping it a side bend before we make it a forward bend. Still have the heart rotated outward. Big breath. And now we'll turn to face that leg, holding wherever you can, or maybe 2 strap ends. And draw down, head between your arms. Looking up, inhaling up. And let's take the legs out in front. Dandasana. Bend the right leg. Bring it to the outside of left. And sit up nice and tall. You just notice that I'm not like this, but I am like this. Nice and upright. Right arm sweeps up and behind you, holding the knee with the left hand. Or if you can, elbow outside the knee, staying tall still and looking back. As you exhale, relax to center and reach for the foot of the bent leg, the front arm, lifting. Now maybe you keep it bent, maybe you can straighten it. Either support yourself with your hand behind you or reach behind with the arm, looking back, staying upright. As you exhale, backhand comes around. It takes the foot. The other hand opens up or supports you on the floor. As you open up the leg, now try not to start to fall back, but stay upright, and that's where the hand can help. And you're pulling that leg out to the side if you can. Keep breathing. Nice, release, and place your right foot again on the outside of the leg as it was to begin with. Then we're opening the twist, so you're twisting and bringing the right arm on the inside of the leg instead of the opposite, twisting open. Then bring your hands down So your forearms are on the floor or mat. Still have the leg crossed. Drop your head. Big breath. Expand through the low back. Breathe into it. Feel what's going on in the hips. Now reach down your leg with the right hand. And if possible, take the toes. If not, just land it down on the shin or ankle and pull there. Optional challenge here. Lift the foot. And then bring the hand here. At the same time, I'm pushing through my palm and the foot on the floor to pull my hip up. Voila. May I see if that's too much for the cool down. The slower part of the class, you just stay on the floor, it's okay. We call this baby grasshopper. Let's release and do the whole series on the other side. Left leg bends. Stay tall in your posture. Plant it around right. Wind the left arm. If you ever mix up right and left for me, it's whatever leg is bent up, it's the same arm that's coming behind you. Like a kickstand to push down. Hold the outside of the knee, look back. 2 big breaths. If you can get your elbow around the knee comfortably, keyword comfortably, don't push anything, then do that. It does deepen the twist. Then extend your arm out and take the foot, lifting it. I'm still nice and tall. Optional lift off with the back arm. Breathing into the leg and hip, shoulder. As you exhale next, back arm comes around and takes the foot, bringing it out to the side. Now here's where we often fall back like this. If you cannot sit tall here like that, just push yourself into the ground with the palm, and that'll keep you upright, otherwise lengthen. Pulling the leg out to the side. Relax. Let's take the leg around it again for an open twist. So I'm taking my same arm as up leg to the inside of the knee, pushing and twisting, opening it up, look back. Then we bring it to the floor. So I'm just shifting back so my elbows end up on the mat, padded. Voila. Drop your head and breathe. Extend your left arm down the leg, and if possible, take hold of the toes. Just enjoy this variation. Or maybe you want to lift off into the baby grasshopper, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, is quite difficult if you're not holding the foot. Trying to do that pose, just holding the shin or the ankle, definitely harder. So if you manage that, félicitations, congratulations. Otherwise, I'm pulling my foot up and moving my hand to the floor, pushing through the hand and foot to come up, comme ça. Letting it down, nice. Let's come onto our backs. Knees to chest, arms relax to the sides. Let's extend the legs up into the air, and your left foot crosses over the right shin or above the knee for upside down pigeon or figure 4 pose. So I've created a number 4 if you look at your legs. We're taking the left arm through the center of the floor, interlace around the extended leg, and then relax at the knee so the foot drops, pulling the legs in. Nice big breath. Lengthen the right leg again and reach up, holding behind the leg, or take hold of the foot and breathing into the hamstrings. Lift your head. Release. Let's do it on the other side. Uncross, knees to chest. Lengthen your legs, and right crosses over left. Thread it through, interlace behind, draw the legs in, and relax at the left knee. Lengthen left leg up and interlace your hands behind the leg, or perhaps take the foot. It's pretty intense. Breathing into the back of the leg. Lift your head. Release. Land your feet. Open your arms to the sides and take your favorite variation of reclined spinal twist. Rocking the legs over, look the other way. If you want to cross, deepen it, you can take the foot around the knee. We did a lot of hamstring stretches, so you may feel this a few hours later, tomorrow. Flexible hamstrings are excellent for your posture to help alleviate back pain. Let's take the reclined spinal twist to the other side. Look the other way. Take the same variation on this side as you did on the other. And next exhale, want to center, lengthen your legs, arms by your sides, close your eyes, and adjust as you will in any Shavasana. Do you want the bolster under your knees if you have one, a blanket over the body? And let yourself be heavy. Feel your hands sink into the floor. Feel your heels sink into the floor. Feel your head heavy on the floor. And release what you don't need. There's nothing you need to do in Shavasana, but simply let go. Observe your effortless breath.
deep breath in and sigh it out. Do you need a little more relaxation? Or are you just starting to let go? In which case, stay. Stay another few minutes. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.